What's up, everyone? Just wrapped up a day down in Cuba, visiting the squad at Robust. I'm here with Lance Stiles, Director of Post Harvest. Thanks for taking us through the shop today, man.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Appreciate you guys making the time.
Glad to show you guys around.
It's always a joy. Like, no joke. Every time I come back, there's always new toys in the shop, new equipment,
Yeah,
new strains, new genetics.
forever evolving, man. I think that's what it takes to maintain status quo in the cannabis industry. And if you're not moving and evolving with the market and just understanding where your pitfalls and taking that feedback and bringing it into the operation, like really helps us set ourselves aside.
I think that's spot on. I mean, you can never get comfortable in this industry,
Yeah,
right? The moment you
for
get
sure.
comfortable is the moment you're giving up your position that you're working really hard to build in the marketplace.
Yep, it's easy to get bypassed, especially if you get complacent.
So, before we dive into things, I've obviously, had the fortune to come and see the operation quite a bit over the last year and a half, get to know you and your team quite a
Yeah.
bit as well. But for those that are tuning in that have never heard of Robust, I'd love for you to share, how you guys came up with the name Robust, what that really means for your organization, what you're doing here in the Missouri market, and how you're differentiating.
Yeah, so kind of a funny story on that front. Tyler and Brad, our owners, were one. Tyler was working at Mercy Healthcare here in Missouri and was overseeing a number of doctors as well as healthcare practitioners. And Brad was on the cancer research side with SLU University or Washington U actually. And they both had a mutual doctor that they both knew and his saying was always, a robust outcome, like just incorporating that health out of the robust aspect of it all. And, Brad and Tyler kind of made a joke of it as they were seeking cannabis licenses, and they were like, "Oh, we should call it robust." And one thing led to another, and we started working with one of our designers, Kristen Williams, and she kind of took that naming convention and ran with it and created, like just the word dictionary, like what robust actually means, and like it's vigor and health. And really, at the end of the day, that's what we emphasize on is just growing healthy, quality cannabis and making sure it's as clean as possible.
So when you talk about, what Robust stands for and how that carries over into your business, your operation, obviously quite a different operation than what you typically find in Missouri, given that you're utilizing the sun to grow in a mixed light environment.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about just that path going down, building greenhouse, and from your perspective, you've seen a lot of different flower over the years. What have you come to learn over the last couple of years of seeing, you know, flower that's grown by the sun, and just the experience of that flower in comparison to maybe something that would be indoor? Love to hear your perspective, getting to work with this type of production method for the last 2 years.
Yeah, for sure.
3 years.
So it's definitely had its trial and error periods, but at the end of the day, just kind of like setting ourselves aside from somebody that grows in cocoa or rock wool, utilizing living soil plus the sunlight and like building up that mycorrhiza and microbiome within the soil, just truly leads to that, like what we like to say is quote unquote sun-kissed terps, and just provides a better array or more wider array of cannabinoids and terpenes, and leads to just a higher development in all of those different things. When you've got both of those working in tandem with each other, that natural sunlight mixed with LED and living soil as well, and it just brings the best out of the cannabis from what I've tried over the years out of just being in the Missouri industry, but also just traveling abroad and even nationwide, California, Oregon, Colorado, Nevada, like the entire West Coast, just seeing people that grow in living soil versus cocoa and just these different methodologies, like you just get a cleaner experience every single time.
We were talking about that earlier today. I was sharing with you. There's a brand back home for me in Colorado. The first group that I tried that was producing living soil pre rolls, a group called Smokies, and for me, the onset and the offset of living soil grown flower is, as I was sharing with you earlier, it feels smoother.
Mhm.
It just feels like an easier, more gradual, onboarding and offboarding experience, at least for me.
Right.
I think everybody has their own, preferences and experiences, and I think all of our bodies actually engage with the plant quite differently.
Definitely.
But it's something that I've come to realize, only over the past couple of years, I would say.
Yeah. It takes time to like really build that type of palate up, and once you notice the subtle differences, it's like, how do you ever go back from something from grown in living soil versus grown in cocoa or rock wool or something of that sort? And to your point, just providing that clean cannabis high, it provides that maybe a slower onset but a longer duration of high, or just benefits from that the medicinal aspect of it. And that's kind of what I've noticed over time as well.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the Missouri market. I want to tie that to, sun growing, because there's what, less than a handful of operations here in the state that are growing with the sun or in a mixed light environment.
Yeah.
Market's just over a year old for adult use.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were scaling up during medical.
Yeah.
I think everybody was pleasantly surprised last year when the state moved as quickly as it did to an adult use environment.
Yeah.
We
No
saw
doubt.
some like rapid capacity additions throughout the market last year.
Yeah.
I think people are starting to kind of settle down a little bit. And
Definitely.
as a sun grown and mixed light operator, it seems that you are set up, the robust team is set up for really being able to compete in the market in a unique way, with a pretty diversified portfolio.
Definitely.
Tell us a little bit more about just the products that you guys are making and how, it's one thing when a market's brand new and you're just coming to market and it's just keeping up with demand. It's a pretty easy game
It
the early
is.
days,
Right.
and then it quickly shifts. And I think we're seeing that shift happen here in Missouri right now. And I'm observing you and the team getting ahead of that shift.
Yeah.
Tell us a
So
little bit about what's going on for you guys with that
for
shift.
sure. Yeah. So it's, the question we always ask ourselves is, how do we separate ourselves from the rest of the group out here in this space that we share, this medical community and recreational community with? And it's always, we've always had that emphasis on growing in living soil and utilizing sunlight with LED as well. But at the end of the day, like creating niche products that nobody else has created, or a small core group of people that have built that path. And really, at that point in time, it's just a matter of who's got the best niche products there. But also, like working with you guys on that front and thinking about other markets outside of the state. What other products do other states provide that we currently don't provide from the state as a whole? And I think those are some of the conversations that we've had behind closed curtains. But like hash rosin capsules, for example, we just released those over the course of the last month and a half, and there really is nobody else out here doing that right now. And I think we've kind of caught that wave of separating ourselves by creating diverse products that nobody has had access to. And, that really builds up hype and momentum behind our brand. And, I think that's what drives it home at the end of the day.
I think another thing that I've observed is that you early on chose to establish two different brands in the market. One that was focused on a value buyer.
Yeah.
Great inputs in terms of the flower that's going into it.
Right.
Just smaller nugs, or maybe it's just some of the residual from the premium product that you're packaging out, but you're still getting a great pre-roll at an affordable price.
Right.
We know there's a massive buyer for that, and that's the PAX line.
Right.
And then you've got Robust, and we're seeing Robust is even evolving from premium sun-grown flower to really leaning into flavor profiles, genetics, as you've deemed terp chasers,
Yeah.
and starting to bring a wider offering to the market,
Right.
as well as, well, maybe we can talk a little bit about terp chasers, but what that's to me that's a little bit of a certain audience that you're looking to cater to when you lean into the terp chasers line, and how you're carrying that out across flower to vape to some other products in due time.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, the PAX Cannabis brand kind of just came about overnight. Like evolving in the medical market and trying to navigate the medical market for what it was at that point in time. It's like people just wanted value, and from a premium perspective, Ace were going for $50 and $60, and that wasn't fitting everybody's narrative. So, how do we create this product line or this brand that's going to get out to the masses and it's going to be well received, to also kind of carry our premium brand along with that one? And over time now, like, we've really seen packs hit hard and then kind of taper off and go through those waves, and through and through at the same time, seeing as packs sales dip a little bit, robust sales climb.
Mm.
And I think there's been intention there, but at the same time, we're just being more recognized for the quality of cannabis that we're putting into our packs line, and seeing that through with robust. It's allowed us to reach more demographics and all different regions of the state. And for robust, just growing that clean, green, quality cannabis, and then making sure that we've got a good price to go along with that quality cannabis. And for us, that's what it's really all about. With the volume that we have coming down for both lines all the time, like, we've got to see the throughput, and that's where quality meets price. And if you don't have the quality and the price to go hand in hand, then something is going to be lopsided. Whether it's your quality and if it's your price, then what we've seen there with some brands out in this market, like, their price point is just too high for the quality of their product, and they don't see the throughput on sales.
Mm.
And that's where some brands have struggled, and that's where we try to set ourselves aside in that realm as well, and make sure quality meets price and we see the volume of throughput.
Yeah, I think that, another thing that I've observed that you and the team have been doing well is really just having that clarity around the consumers that you're serving, and not muddying the water with trying to carry into too many different shelves in the retail environment where, PAX has its place. And what's cool about Robust is it's a little bit of a utility hitter that reaches into that top shelf buyer experience, but not necessarily carrying a complete top shelf price.
Yeah.
Able to do that through cost of production and how you guys grow.
Right.
And I believe that it doesn't matter where the buyer is coming in at on the shelf, every buyer is looking for value, as
Yeah,
you said.
absolutely.
Price has to be cohesive with quality and the expectation that the buyer wants to have. And it doesn't matter if they're a mid tier, top tier, lower tier shelf buyer.
Yeah, and we're in it for the long run. Like, when we make decisions like that, we're thinking 6 months out, a year out into how the market is going to look at that point. And like, we try to price
You mean
ourselves
you're not taking
accordingly.
advantage of like scarcity in the market like a lot of folks do and increase their prices, and
Right. Yeah.
instead you chose to say no, this is our price, we are profitable and we're going to hold it, right?
Yeah, and we did that from day one when we went adult use, and our prices haven't changed since the very beginning of adult use, and that just speaks to who we are, and carrying the integrity of our brand from time and time again, to seeing price compression and everybody drop their pants on pricing, and we stayed the same throughout the entire time, and we've only gone up from there the entire time as well. So. I think we took that long road mentality and played that game, and maybe it didn't work out for us in the short term. But now that we're here, like, working on a bunch of different projects with you guys, and growing the quality cannabis that we're capable of, like, it's really worked out for us and the end game. And we're here for the long road. We're not here to have that short sighted thinking and driving prices up, and not seeing the throughput that we want to see.
I think the long game mindset, not enough people in business in general, not just in cannabis, play the game with that mindset, but it pays off. And unfortunately, there is no, overnight success in this industry at this point anymore. On occasion, there's a lottery win here and there, but
Sure.
that's exactly what it is. It's a lottery win.
Right.
The days of 2016, 17, 18, they don't exist anymore.
Yep.
If you're not playing with the long game, then this is not a game for you to be playing in my opinion.
No doubt.
Innovation, right? Cannabis is constantly changing. We connected first on a new product that was the solventless capsules.
Mm-hmm.
I think we helped bring that product to life. It was a vision that the team had. We got it to shelf. My understanding in time that was a fraction of what you were previously experiencing from the packaging supply chain.
Definitely.
I'd love to just hear your thoughts on how is the Vert model enabling you and the team at Robust to go from idea to shelf at a pace that maybe you weren't able to do earlier as the business was just ramping up?
Yeah, so just having to work with overseas production, you're running into a lot of lead times that are 12 and 14 and 16 weeks, and just working through designs and everything on the forefront of that. Like by the time you start a project and actually get that item with overseas production, you're typically looking at 20 weeks to half a year.
Mm.
And, in a business like this that's so innovative and forever evolving, it's hard to keep up with things like that when you're looking at those types of lead times. And for you guys to come in and offer 10 to 14 to 21 day turnaround times with design incorporated, it changed the game for us, and it's allowed us to get product to market quicker than ever. And that's what I truly appreciate about this relationship, for one. But two, you guys bring a lot of insight in there, and we're able to bounce ideas off each other. And generally, the project flows really quickly and comes together really well. And like we'll have a couple calls, some designs to go through, and the project's done typically within a week or two.
Appreciate
So,
that.
it just kind of speaks to like what you guys are trying to bring to the packaging side of things, and making sure that we can really button up and get product and new SKUs out there quicker than ever.
You know, we've been doing a lot of building the last 6 months. We were talking about this earlier,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited for what H2 is going to look like for you and the team in regards to the products that you are bringing to market and have been, releasing over the last couple months, but also more in the queue.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to hear your feedback in 6 months from now. But my ideology about what we've built is that we're able to condense replenishment cycles and we're able to get you to market faster. So at the end of the day, what Vert is able to do is help our clients and our partners grow faster because they can go through the growth cycles faster.
Definitely.
Right? In a traditional environment where you're saying it's 20 weeks to replenish inventory,
Yeah.
if you're seeing great demand in the market, it's 3 months before you can fully
Keep up with
respond to
that.
that demand.
Yep.
So, our model's still in the early days of it coming to fruition for our partners because of how young the company is. But the real idea behind all this is we help brands move faster. We want to see robust moving faster with our Vert Max model. And I'm excited to be able to sit back down in 6 months from now and hopefully share with others, the data at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely, man. And even for some projects that weren't a new SKU release for us, like the vape carts, for example, I mean, just revamping that entirely and just making more sleek, sexy options out of our packaging, I feel like has led to more just increase in sales for those ancillary products too. So whether it's a new SKU release or a new just revamped product, then like we've been squared away and we've been taken care of for sure. And I think that presence has only helped us that much more in the market.
Packaging sells. It's a
Definitely
it's
does.
a balance, between COGS, selling price.
Yep.
Obviously, you guys have that balance and recipe down pretty well,
Yep.
but always something that has to be balanced as you bring new products to market. So, as we wrap up, what can people be keeping their eyes open for with regards to robust new products? Some of the things that are going to be coming out over the next couple months. Anything you can give some sneak peeks on?
A little bit, yeah. So recently we've been working on the Robust Reserve projects,
Yeah.
kind of revamping that in a jar. And we've had one or two batches kind of get out there, and very small whims. But, coming soon here, we'll have Robust Reserve infused pre rolls with some hash and homogenizing that hash, that melted down hash with some flour and whatnot. We've talked about some syrups and things like that, and definitely don't want to lose sight of that as new markets evolve and new products evolve. Like, yeah, I mean, those are the first couple that are on the forefront of my mind, and outside of that, I'm sure you've got a couple up your sleeve too that I haven't heard about just yet. But
I was pretty stoked to see the box today for the jars.
yeah,
Bringing your vision to life with that, and Tyler and Brad's. Getting to see it in person for the first time today. That box looked pretty sick. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to launching more here with you in the coming months. And thanks a lot for making the time for us to come through today.
no doubt, brother.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise.